With Donald Trump now sworn in as the 47th president, all Canadian eyes are focused south as our nation awaits the possibility of crippling tariffs. And it's already having an effect in Ontario, with the Premier saying today he needs a provincial election so he has a mandate to deal with the U.S. Let's bring in Will Stewart. He's the former Chief of Staff to Harper Cabinet member John Baird and is currently a Senior Vice President with public affairs firm Enterprise Canada. Will, does Ford really need a mandate like he says? He's still leading in the latest polls by 9 points.
Absolutely. And thanks for having me on, Matt. A very big day in politics for North America, for sure. Yeah, I saw the remarks from Premier Ford today. You know, I think Premier Ford's very concerned about what needs to come next, right? Like, Conservatives are very big on doing what they said they were going to do. We never saw threats like this from our biggest trading partner, from our best friends in the world, the United States. And I think that's going to cause a lot of other things to have to go by the wayside. This could cost us billions of dollars. We need to worry about taxes. We need to be able to worry about the affordability issues that the Ontarians are currently facing. And we still need to provide for people's health care and their roads and their schools as well. So I think it fundamentally does change the political landscape in Ontario. And I think Premier is right. It's time to go to the people and see if they agree with what he has on offer to solve this threat from south of the border.
But won't a provincial election take the Premier's focus off of the U.S. and the problem at hand?
Yeah, look, it's not ideal, right? Of course, we'd love to have Team Canada all rowing together. We'd love to have the federal government doing what they need to do from an international relations point of view, a border security point of view, a trade and tariff point of view. But of course, we're in a difficult spot. We've got the Liberals seeking a new leader, likely a new prime minister. We're going to have 3 prime ministers in this country potentially between New Year's Eve and Canada Day. And that's a lot. And I think what Ford's really got to be ready for here, what Ontario really has to be ready for, is these tariffs from a manufacturing point of view are really going to hit Ontario exceptionally hard because we are a manufacturing jurisdiction. And we heard Trump say today, America is going to build stuff again. And that's a direct attack on Ontario. So I do think, while it's not ideal that Premier Ford is forced into an election, I do think he's right to seek a new mandate from the people, given the threats that we're facing right now.
But is it fair to say he's being forced into election, or is this a political choice?
Look, there's always a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B when you're talking politics. Politicians are at least honest that politics plays a role in decision making. Look, it's no secret that Ontario and the federal government tend to have different parties in power throughout history. That could be a correlation of convenience, or it could be an indication of voter choice. Regardless, I think Ford sees that. I think Ford sees the need for a strong, stable mandate to match the 4 years that Donald Trump will have in power. So Doug Ford could have that same 4 years of stability here as the Trump regime starts off in the United States yet again.
Okay, so day one, they don't enact these tariffs like they had promised. If you're Chief of Staff to the Premier, how would you be advising him to handle Trump going forward, now that this promise hasn't come through on day one?
Yeah, and look, we always thought it would be a tough pill to swallow on day one. He also promised to end the war in Ukraine on day one at one point as well. So we take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. But what we do know is his threats are seemingly real. His threats have continued to escalate. So if I'm the Chief of Staff to the Premier of Ontario right now, I'm saying, job well done, Captain Canada, job well done, Premier Ford, but let's not take the victory lap. Let's leave the champagne in the fridge with the corks in it. It is not time to celebrate. It's time to be ever vigilant right now. And, you know, I heard the words from the head of Unifor earlier on in your broadcast, and she said the same thing. We have to be very vigilant here. And I don't think this threat is over. So let's just steady as we go, be focused on what Canada needs, and be focused on how to protect Ontario.
That's Will Stewart with Enterprise Canada. Will, thanks once again for your time.
Thanks, Matt.